Alright, so here we are with the finished product. You take the two seats and you reverse it. So it's just the right height, right? Got a Sportspal Canoe here that I bought used. Came with the standard Sportspal foam seats. And these are the most useless, uncomfortable seats you can possibly imagine. So I'm building a rear seat. I'm coming up with a trick here to deal with the seat issue with the Sportspal. And the trick is to make a rear seat out of some materials you can get at a hardware store, and then to use the two seats to make a single seat for the front that's approximate to the right height. Okay, so let me show you what I'm doing for this rear seat. Okay, so I wasn't planning to make a video about this, I'm just trying to get it done. But I thought I'd just do this real quick. So I had this 1-inch aluminum here. You could use 2x2 treated lumber. You want to have something that's not going to rot. So I'm using treated lumber for the seat. Okay, if you're going to use untreated lumber, you got to, stain it. I would use a stain, not a paint. That way it'll penetrate the wood and it won't flake off. Anyway, I cut one piece of this aluminum to fit. You can see it fits about a hand width, right? See where it stops? It's about a hand width from the end. That's the distance. If you look at all the seats that are pre-made seats or factory seats or custom seats for Sportspal, they're about a hand width. There's about 6 inches, well, not a hand width, but 6 inches from the end, okay? So I cut the short one 6 inches to be 6 inches from the end, and the longer one to be 11 inches in front of that. Okay, this is for a 14-foot, or was it 13 and a half foot Sportspal. So this isn't the smallest one, but these dimensions will work for most of the sizes, generally speaking, okay? 11 inches front to back. This here wood is just, I think it's fencing wood. So you can get a 4-foot piece of this for like $5 at Home Depot or whatever, okay? So it's enough to do many, many, many seats, right? Or you can use plywood or whatever. It doesn't matter what you use, okay? Now, the next thing I did was get these. These are called hanging straps. Okay, it's just this bendy metal. I think it might be galvanized, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, okay? And I screwed it in to the end, about 3 inches. Okay, so this will bend up, right? This will bend up. Okay, and you'll see how this comes into play for hanging the seat, because you want the seat to hang below the gunnels, right? You don't want the seat to be right at the same level as the gunnels. These are called gunnels. Okay, you want the seat, about 3 inches down of that. Otherwise, it'll be kind of tippy, okay? It's more comfortable to have it high, especially for a tall guy like me, but you want it down a bit because the canoe is just so much more stable when you're a bit lower like that, okay? So these straps will allow you to hang it in that fashion. And you have them hanging off the end like this, so you can adjust them and get them just right, okay? So the next step is to attach this wood, okay, to those crossbars. Okay, and what I did was I countersunk them by taking a Phillips head bit and pressing on it a little bit with the drill. I don't know if you've ever seen that trick before, but that is, I call it a poor man's countersink. Okay, you just use a Phillips head and you push on it and it'll countersink really nicely. That way you can countersink the heads and they're not sticking to your butt and being uncomfortable. Right, these aren't proper countersinking flush heads. These are just ordinary machine screws because they have to tap into this aluminum. For all the fastening for this project, I'm using these 8x3/4, number 8x3/4, right? They're 3/4 inch screws. Roberts head, number 2 Roberts, because Roberts is the best. Okay, right? So for attaching the straps, I use those screws, right? For attaching, there's enough I got about, when I countersunk it, I got about a 1/4 inch of the screw into the metal. That's enough for it to hold good. Okay. Right. And the way these boards go on, you have a space between them so water can fall through, right? So that they can dry themselves out. Okay. So the trick is to measure these out. I've got them 3 inches in from each side. All right, so you can set them like this. You can put a little pad on there or something when you're sitting down to keep your, have a nice soft thing for your bum, or just sit on them like this. Depends on how long you're going to be canoeing for, right? A lot of guys sit on your life jacket. That's not safe, but a lot of guys do it, right? Sit on the, might have 2 life jackets in a career in a canoe, and if you're by yourself, you use one of the life jackets as a seat, that sort of thing, right? Sort of strap it around the seat. Anyway, so the next thing I got to do, I've got 2 of these in right now, right? You see that? I just got to screw the rest of these in, and then I'll fit the seat to the canoe, right? The trick is that each of these cross members has to be symmetrically aligned, right? The seat parts have to be square and straight. You have to do nice square cuts, right? And they have to be lined up properly, symmetrically. And same with over here, right? They have to be spaced out properly. So you just use that doing your tape measure and a little grade 7 math sort of thing, and being careful, measure twice, cut once, that sort of deal. So let me just finish that off. Got that together. It's not perfect, but it's close enough to perfect for me. Okay, I think that'll be a pretty comfortable seat, especially when you get a little, 1/2 inch foam on there or something like that. Deer blind seat pad, anything like that. But even like this, it'll be okay if you're going for a short jaunt. Okay, and we got room for the water to get out, right? All right, next step. The next step is to carefully bend these straps up. I wouldn't use a hammer. You should have enough strength in your hands, right, to bend them. But just hold it down with your feet and bend them up, okay? I made another seat. So I have another canoe that I made seats like this using wood. I did this like, I don't know, 15 years ago. The canoe's been stored outside for 15 years. The seats are still intact. They're still fine. I'm just using these because the guy I bought the canoe from had made a really bad seat on this canoe, which I took off. Right, so I'm reusing that nice aluminum that came with it, because it's, aluminum is great. It's lightweight, strong as hell, right? So anyway, this is now ready to fit in place. I figure the way the canoe sits on the floor is roughly close to level. You use the ribs to line it up in terms of whether it's relatively equidistant. Okay, so choose something close to what we think is okay, where the front and the back are below the top of the canoe. I'm going to commit to that height right there. Go with that for now. Just hang this over. You can use this, get that close to level. Eyeballing a little bit. It's enough. All right, I'm going to pop a screw in here. This is very low tech, right? pop that other one in. Get the other screw in. Don't over tighten your screw. Okay, we'll say that's close to level. Right now we grab our level, guesstimate. We're a little bit high, a little bit higher than I'd like, but it's okay. We'll go with it. It's all right. It's okay. Nice. Good. All right. That's fine. That's great. Yeah, it's a little high, but it's going to be really comfy. Comfy for me anyway. I'm pretty stable in a canoe. Some people are stable in a canoe, some people are tippy in a canoe. So whoever I'm in the canoe with, I'm going to be sitting in the back because I'm bigger and heavy and more experienced than whoever else is going to be in it. You can always kneel if you're feeling like things aren't good. So now we just add an extra screw each side. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we got to get these little end pieces off, right? Because they're a hook on things. All right, you just use a hacksaw for that. Just hacksaw it off and give it a file. That's all you got to do, or a Dremel tool, or a grinder, or whatever you got. All right, that's pretty good. I'll just follow those down a little bit. I'm gonna have sharp edges, right? And just give it a little tap there, a little test with the finger to grab anything. That's pretty good. I'm just going to do that with the rest of them now. Alright, so here we are with the finished product. We're about 3 inches low at the back and about an inch low at the front. It's a little bit high, but because it's so close to the end, you can get away with it, especially if you're the kind of person that's stable in a canoe. For added comfort, just add a little bit of foam, right? That's all you got to do. Okay, now for the front, I got a great trick. You take the 2 seats and the second seat, you cut the back off and you reverse it, right? Because they've got this weird pitch to them, right? Which is, it's okay if you're sitting at the very back, that pitch comes in handy, but if you're sitting in the middle or, you know, sort of back from the front, it just puts you at a weird angle. So you reverse the pitch, glue it on. I got it sort of tied on too, right? The great thing about this setup, okay, so now it's, think about, that's the crossbar, right? And we're just about 2 inches below that, right? So it's just the right height, right, for a canoe seat. Now what you can do is you can have it here, just back of center, for paddling alone, and you're right in the middle, and you can even bungee the back onto this carrying bar, right, to make sure it stays put, and so it's not moving around. You basically, you know, decide exactly where the center is and just bungee it on there, right? So you've got that. Or if you've got someone in the front of the canoe, right, you can have it back here or up closer depending on their preference, right? But it's still the right height, right? So it's an easy sort of modular, right? So you take those 2 useless seats, right, and just turn them into one seat that's the right height, right? So you only have to add 1 seat to the canoe. Okay, so that's the trick for solving the crappy Sportspal Canoe foam seat problem, other than buying seats, right? So for these, you can buy a piece of this 1-inch aluminum at a hardware store for maybe 20 bucks, or you can just use a treated 2x2. What they use for spindles on decks is definitely strong enough for this sort of thing. These ties are like $1.80 each. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, right? And a bucket of 3/4 inch screws, right? A piece of fencing, treated fencing, right? $5 I think is what that cost. Just a 4-foot piece of fencing, 3/4 inch. Might even be 5/8. I'd say that's 5/8. Okay, it's got all the strength you need. You just have to pre-drill those. It's key, right? But that'll hold up. That'll hold up for years and years and years and years. Lightweight, strong, simple. You know, if I wanted to paint this aluminum and try to make it look pretty, I could, but I could care less. This is being stashed out in the woods. Anytime I could come up there and someone could steal it. So that's all you got to do, right? I made it a little adjustment on this one here. I thought it was a bit low, so I have to cut this off and refile it. But other than that, it's all ready to go. And I got this other seat for the front for wherever I want to be. If I'm by myself, I'll have it here, right? And if I got a buddy with me, they'll be up there. All right, so I hope you found that interesting. Did please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, enjoy the outdoors on the cheap. Thanks for watching.